cat in the wall, eh? Okay, now you're talking my language.
You ever drunk Baileys from a shoe?
Alright, welcome in to the View from C-Deck, and I'm just Matt, flying solo tonight. Your weekly Buckeye report, your weekly Buckeye recap of every game, and preview usually, but nothing to preview after Ohio State whoops on OU this week with the bye coming up. The main message that came out of this game, besides Buckeyes win handily while dominating in most statistical categories, but Brian Hartline, in the words of Kevin McAllister, Hartline, your red zone offense, woof. As the Buckeyes struggle massively early in the game, especially 3 straight possessions where you come away with a total of 6 points, not acceptable against a team like OU especially. But the Bobcats defense is tough against the run. They were scrappy. I thought number 7, their corner, had a couple of really nice plays in the end zone on fades. But what happened? We're going to get into that real quickly. And let's start with Julian Sayin and Brian Hartline, the two guys that are both new to the scene, a new play caller, a new quarterback who's a freshman. And the struggles definitely start there. It's so far Sayin this season, 3 for 7 inside the 10-yard line. 1 touchdown, 1 interception, and took the sack on 4th down in the first possession of the game against this weekend. I don't think that Hartline's play calling has helped him out, but he's missing open receivers in the flats especially. Reminds me of Justin Fields, his first year here, where he just, until we played really Clemson, in the last drive of the Clemson game, and he started checking down to JK, it was like he always wanted more downfield, and he was just forgetting to even look at the flats and see his open guys. This was something, even on the 13-yard touchdown to Max Clare, something that Julian did. Like, he had Ennis open in the flats for a first down a lot without having to scramble, and he still scrambles and ends up making a great play in that particular possession, but that was outside the 10-yard line. And his only touchdown pass inside the 10-yard line, and 9 of his 16 passing yards there is from the 9-yard line, so it's almost out the back, almost out of the area that it starts becoming so compressed that it's tough to read. And that was the Jeremiah against Grambling, so nothing to write home about. So where we're getting super compressed, he's not quite making a decision fast enough. Is that on him, or guys not open? I mean, we threw 2 fades though to guys that's the matchup you want. It wasn't a great fade by him. It's like he gets stuck between this fade and a back shoulder because it's kind of on a rope. It kind of looks like it's going towards the back shoulder, but it's not quite there. He needs to pick one because I know Carnell and Jeremiah can make the play if you give them a better chance than what they had at those 2 balls. And he did the same thing to Mylan Graham in the spring game. Threw a fade that was very similar to what we saw both those on Saturday night, and it was broken up by Aaron Scott. It's also a problem with the run game. Like, we get down there, and I'll bring Hartline on this, especially on the first possession. He's a little predictable. That if a passing play doesn't work on first down, he runs it on second down. And the 2nd and 7 run on that possession with Donaldson made not a lot of strategic sense to me. Like, I wasn't sure what he was trying to gain. Was he hoping he got to like the 2? But with that scenario, like in that situation, it's unlikely. So they get down to the 4, which compresses it even more, but keeps you too far away to just try and pound it in from the 4 on 3rd down. 3rd down's an incompletion, then 4th down we take the sack because guys aren't open. It's I feel like he needs to have a little more purpose to everything he does. It was almost like a kid calling a video game there. And speaking of Donaldson, time to move on to the other big headline from the offense is Bo Jackson should be starting at running back. And I'm not breaking any news here. Everybody who watched it and has watched this team the first 3 games can tell it's different when he's in the game. The explosiveness, he can get the edge. We haven't seen that really from Peoples or Donaldson. Peoples looked better at the end of the game, I'll give him that, than he had, but it was not a stellar performance from him, again, until OU was worn down. So, I mean, we end up with only a 9-carry, 109-yard game from Bo Jackson. He's got over 100 yards on 9 carries in both of these last 2 games. Against cupcakes, well, I don't know if I'll call you a cupcake, but against teams that we should be able to run the ball against, he's been the one that's been by far the most effective. And we ran for 226 yards as a team, though, which is pretty good, 7.5 yards per carry. But Bo Jackson's averaging 12.1 yards a carry right now on the season. Get that man the ball some more. He may not start against Washington because of being the road environment, especially the first time for Sam. They want somebody that's better at pass protection. They kept putting Donaldson in on like first down, and it was like a pass every single time because of the pass protection stuff. But Bo Jackson's also a really good receiver. 2 catches for 21 yards. Deas said in interviews that he thinks he could play wide receiver, like he could hold his own there, which is staggering for a guy that's that much of a running back and that good as a running back. We got to see more of Bo. Bo knows. Bo knows, baby. The wide receivers, of course, they are what they always are. Just absolute stallions. Jeremiah, 9 catches for 153 yards and a touchdown. Runs another touchdown in. Carnell goes over 100 yards and a touchdown. They both catch long, 40-plus yard touchdown passes. They and Sayin have a great chemistry on those deep balls. Sayin just needs seasoning. He also has a really bad interception. 2 in the game, but one really bad one when he should be taking a sack, and he just tries to get rid of it. The other one's a tip pass. Like that's going to happen sometimes. A tip pass that goes directly to a defender. Just a good play by them. And he's a little shorter, so we're going to have some of those tips at the line. We just have to hope we don't get unlucky with them. But, and the O-line, they've kept saying clean as can be, really, besides that sack on 4th down through 3 games. The only thing I'm seeing is Tager Shabola has 2 bad penalties. He's always at the bottom of the PFF grades. I never get that impressed with him watching him play guard. His arm's almost too long to play guard. Maybe we need to see more of Ethan Oyanwa. I would like to. I feel like we run the ball better when he's in the game. But we'll see. I mean, they know better than I from what's going on in practice, and I wouldn't call myself an O-line specialist here. But I would like to see probably a little bit more production there from the right guard position. But overall, we outgain OU 573 to 181 yards. So a 28-point win doesn't seem like that much when you consider we outgained them by damn near 400 yards. And a big reason we did that, though, is that freaking defense and Matt Patricia. I am like this right now. I am worshiping. His schemes are just confusing everyone. The team speed on this defense. Parker Navarro, there are statistical ratings that have him as a top 10 quarterback in the country. And besides that bomb he hit on Lorenzo Styles, he didn't do anything. Obviously gets hurt, too, by Bo Atkinson just rocking him on that shovel pass that he ends up injuring his thumb. May have broken his thumb on his non-throwing hand, though. But he only got the corner once running against Caleb Downs of all people, but Caleb's not going to let that happen twice. He played really well, of course. The D-line gets to the quarterbacks like 4 or 5 times. Bo Atkinson gets a sack. Everybody but Kenyatta pretty much got a sack, I think. Caden McDonald gets a sack. We rotated a ton of guys in, too. Like, nobody played more than like 20-something snaps, I think, at the end. It was, on the D-line, period, but at the end. You can't say enough about these guys right now. They are just shutting people down. The Arvell Reese, Sonny Styles, Caleb Downs, middle of the field quandary that they're putting people in where you don't know who's blitzing. You don't know if they're dropping or if they're spying, if they're blitzing. They're coming from all angles. They're so fast that they can get back and recover to their where they need to cover it. The team speed is nasty. Caden McDonald has been just gumming things up in the middle against all run games. Right now, this looks like the best defense in the country to me. I mean, Texas is really good too. Oklahoma looks good. But right now, Matty P, just keep doing what you're doing because this defense is just ferocious. Holding down a Bobcat offense that was averaging like 450 yards a game against 2 P4 teams and holding them to 181 yards is just nasty work. And, it's going to be tough sledding for anybody against this team. And so you think, even though they've been letting wing it for over 300 yards the last 2 games, I expect a more conservative game plan against Washington because we don't need, we're just win. As Ryan keeps saying, the early season, the season mantra is just win. I think they'll maybe a little more conservative, but this defense, man, I just can't say enough. The secondary seems like they're impossible to pass the ball against. Besides the 67, they only give 113 yards passing, 67 on one play. And that was just a good play by that guy and kind of a bad play by Styles, who got hurt. Hopefully he's okay. Hopefully he's back for Washington. We'll need him because Washington's averaging, they're more of a running team, but you need all your DBs back there so you can attack the run. They're averaging 300 yards a game running. They have a more athletic version of Parker Navarro. I'm not sure he's as good, but he is more athletic coming up in a couple weeks. But we'll talk about that next week. Let's see, was there anything else I had in my notes for this game? Yeah, just the D-line rotation just being amazing. So now we're through the quarter pole of the season, though. Not much more to say about OU. I think they win the MAC, though. They seem to have a solid enough defense to go with Parker Navarro and Chase Hendricks at wide receiver that I think they can outlast most of the MAC. So this win could look very good towards the end of the year. Now, through the quarter pole, right now, if you said, what are you not worried about? Julian Sayin as a whole, that you were worried about preseason. Julian Sayin as a whole, he's fine. The offense as a whole, I think, fine. Except for maybe Hartline as a play caller. We'll get that in a minute. The defense, can't say enough about them. Special teams, they look, one thing I am going to say, I guess Brandon Ennis is good. He did a good job fielding punts this week after Day got on him for not fielding them and letting him yardage. But he is not explosive enough. We saw Jeremiah have a little bit of an adventure on his return. I'm not sure I love him back there. Is there a way we can get Mile and Graham on the field, maybe by doing something like this, or somebody that can give us a little more of a boost? It seems like we have a lot of times with Day. We're just back there trying to tread water, I think, on special teams and win the game with our offense and defense, there's nothing wrong with that. Just won us a national championship. But, we do see Fielding hit his field goals, though, so that's good. Now, the worries, because you know me, friends. My friends call me Whiskers because I'm a worrier. Right now, my number one worry for the team is Hartline's play calling, because it looks like a first-year play caller. It's simplistic. He tips his hand too often with formations or down and distance tendencies that he has. Like I said, if we have a passing play fail on first down, you damn sure know we're running it on second down right now, which we had issues with that. I remember a couple years ago with Day, it was an issue where we would always run it on second and long, like always run it. And we seem to do that a lot this year. And with Sayin's quick release, with what we can do in the screen game that we've seen so far already, mainly wide receiver screens, I would like to see a little more aggression on second down and long like that. But it's just like I said, in the play calling in the red zone, obviously the big one, because right now they're struggling so bad. Maybe dumb it down. Find what Sayin does really, really well and do that. Or if you have to get creative, get Keenholtz in there. But if we have to figure out something with the play calling in the red zone. But like I said, overall, you can, I'm as an observer, probably 80 to 90% of the time, I'm guessing run or pass for us correctly. I'm not the D coordinator there. They're probably more in the 90 to 100% at right now the rate it is. But we do have we have all these two tight end sets with different tight ends we're running in. And I've heard Dave even say that a lot of it is a personnel thing. Well, if certain personnel's in, that means certain types of plays are trying to get run. And if you're just confirming that with your personnel, then it becomes predictable at times. So if we have Kasmerick and Bennett Christian in the game, although he wasn't playing this week, we know we're probably trying to run the ball. Now, that we did use that against scrambling and hit Kasmerick up the seam, but it's something just to be aware of. We need to be able to counter what people think is coming. Sayin in the red zone is also the problem, also a worry right now, just because, one, he's not reading it quick enough to get out good passes. And if we can't pass the ball in the red zone and we can't really run the ball in the red zone, then that's going to lead to some red zone issues. Him missing guy in the flats too, but I think it's all correctable. I think this is his third start. It's all correctable right now. I haven't seen anything that I think, man, there's no way, this is who he is for the rest of the season. What he is a really, really accurate passer, especially when he gets time in the pocket, dude is money. Run game consistency is my other one. This is where I think Bo Jackson helps us a ton, because we've seen Peoples get in there and if I had to compare our running backs, it's Donaldson is Master Teague. That's the easiest one. There's not a lot of wiggle. He's running right at you. He's not as fast as Master Teague, but he maybe has a little bit more wiggle to his game. But he's making one cut. He's coming downhill. He's trying to run you over. He's not going to try to avoid you. So he's only going to he'll get if 4 yards are there, he's going to get those 4 yards. But if you're asking for more, he's not going to get it. Peoples right now, Lido Ross is who I think of, which is not a great thing. Well, it can be though. Lido Ross had some huge games that huge game he had against Indiana as a freshman. I think he had like 146 yards or something. You would see spurts, and you're like, okay, this guy's a player. This guy's a starting running back at Ohio State caliber. And then you see him run into the back of his blockers or not attack the line of scrimmage, be uncertain. Like, the vision was always Lydell's probably biggest problem, but he also like didn't finish runs like strong enough. This is what I'm seeing with Peoples right now. I had huge hopes for him coming in just because of the way he was being hyped and the way they kind of treated him preseason, but it's just not, haven't seen it yet. What we have seen, though, is Bo Jackson just busting through the line. It's hard to say who I can compare him to because he's not Travion, because he doesn't have that burst. And he has a better stiff arm and stuff like that. I mean, Antonio Pittman is kind of who I think of, but he could be a lot better version of that. But kind of not the hugest guy in the world. Well, he's taller than Pittman. I don't know. Bo Jackson, Bo may just be Bo. Maybe he's the real Bo Jackson, like Auburn Bo Jackson. I haven't seen that. But he's big, strong, fast, can catch. He's a complete package. Just needs to learn. Sounds like he needs to learn how to pass protect better. That's why they were taking him out and putting him in. Like, when he's in, he's getting the ball, though. He's part of the action. And that can be a huge weapon, though, because if everybody's paying attention to Jeremiah in that passing game, he can rip them off. But if people start paying attention to him, it opens up Jeremiah in that passing game some more. And Carnell and everybody else has a little, if they bring extra safety to the box, you don't want to go single high safety against us. You do not want to do that. And then defensively, the only worry is, like, we still haven't played a great offense yet. I think OU is a good offense, but not great. Texas Arch is a mess right now, so they may just be a bad offense. They can't run the ball either because Arch is a mess. So what do we look like against a great offense? Washington will be a better test, I think, than we've seen so far. Statistically, they're good. Their quarterback's really good, really athletic. We may not see one, though, until we play Oregon in the in the Big Ten championship, if we do. Because right now, Penn State's offense looks kind of like it always does. Like, it's pretty good, but not something you can't like shut down if you have the speed and talent. But I'm actually not really worried about that. But I had to think of something for the defense. Yeah, maybe IGB finally had a penalty in this game, first one of the year. Maybe he's back to getting a penalty a game average, and that'll keep teams alive. But right now, Matt Patricia, though, he's got quarterbacks and offensive coordinators head spinning. Plus, he's got the horses to do it. Pizarro Reese, Sonny Styles, Caleb Downs, Jalen McClain, the corners, the D-line, like, they're everywhere. There's talent and speed all over that defense, and he's like a freaking mad scientist back there, just moving guys around everywhere. And if you're processing fast and Ohio State's playing fast, you're in trouble. You are in trouble. But, that's all I'm thinking about through the quarter poll. And that'll do it for this podcast about the Ohio Bobcat game. Like, subscribe, and comment. We'll have try to do one with at least the Dire Wolf later this week about just the overall landscape of college football so far through the first 3 games of the season for most teams. See who's surprising, who's disappointing. Cough, Clemson, cough, cough, cough. Cough, Notre Dame. Ugh. But yeah, right now, I think Ohio State, I always ask this question at the end of each podcast. Did the last game make you more confident or less confident that we're in the national championship? The defense proved it's for real, I think. And I already thought they were, but they needed a measuring stick like this against an athletic QB. They passed it with flying colors. I think it's the best defense in the country with potentially the best passing game in the country. This could be a really fun year yet again. But yeah, I'm just Matt. This is View from CDEC. Like, comment, subscribe. Tell the Dire Wolf and the Haas that they're losers for not being on here tonight. And we will see you guys next time.
Hey guys! Whoa, big gulps, huh? All right. Well, see you later.